Hey guys, I'm Brett. The WeebillS packs quite the punch when it comes to shooting. In this video, we'll discover the different shooting modes for WeebillS, how to control both your camera and zoom/focus motor, and how to customize some of the settings. Special thanks to ZHIYUN for sponsoring this video. The WeebillS has a lot of really powerful ways to easily capture some stunning footage. For starters, the unique design means there's two ways to best hold your gimbal. First is the traditional upright mode, and then there's sling mode. Sling mode is great for getting low to the ground, but it also acts as a dual handle grip, which leads to better stability. Now, a few tips before we start exploring the different shooting modes and you start filming. First, make sure you've properly balanced your gimbal and that you've selected the appropriate motor strength, which you can do using the new auto tune feature. If you need help doing any of these things, check the description for links to our other tutorial videos. Now let's get to the shooting modes, each of which is displayed on the screen when they're activated. First is pan follow mode, which will follow you as you pan left or right, but not up or down, and it won't roll either. You can, however, adjust the tilt using the joystick or by simply positioning the tilt by hand. Access this mode by using the switch on the side. Next is lock mode, which locks all movement, whether left, right, up, down, and roll. You can adjust the position using the joystick or by hand as well. This is great if you need the freedom to move while making sure your camera remains locked on a subject. Just use the switch on the side to activate this mode. Next is follow mode, which will follow your movement as you move left, right, up, and down. Activate follow mode by holding down the trigger button. Next is go mode, which is activated by holding down the function button on the side. Go mode behaves like follow mode, except that it drastically increases the responsiveness of the gimbal. This is great for keeping up with fast action, but it also works really well for things like whip transitions, where you would whip out from one scene into another, cut the two together, and bam. Here's a quick tip for follow mode and go mode. As a new feature for WeebillS, you can keep these modes activated without having to hold down the buttons. So just press down on the jog dial to enter the menu and scroll down to the key page. Press right, and here you can change the behavior of the follow trigger and the function button. Head into either one and we can select an option where we either have to hold the button down or simply click the button once to keep the mode activated. When you're done, just click the button or trigger again to deactivate the mode. Pretty cool! Now back to the shooting modes. Next is POV mode, which unlocks all movement including pan, tilt, and now roll. Just push the POV button. To exit, just push the POV button again or switch to a different mode. This mode can be used in all sorts of creative ways to add roll to your footage or to give it a sort of natural first-person feel. Next is Vortex mode. For Vortex, first enter into sling mode and then double press the POV button. From here, you'll use the joystick to do 360-degree barrel rolls. This creative mode can lead to some really crazy and fun looking footage, so experiment with it. And while you're at it, hit that like button too if you're digging Vortex mode as much as I am. Next up is selfie mode. Just triple press the POV button or the follow trigger and your camera will flip around. This mode can be really useful for setting your camera down and filming yourself, or for filming behind you while you walk forward. Now, if at any point you want to reset the position of your gimbal while you're filming, just double press the follow trigger. Speaking of filming, you can control your camera directly on the gimbal itself to make shooting really quick and easy. First, make sure you've hooked up the proper cables and selected the correct camera system from the menu. Be sure to check out our in-depth tutorial on setting these things up. Link is in the description. From here, we can start and stop a recording by pressing this button. We can take a picture using this button, and we can even acquire focus by half pressing this shutter button. For supported Canon, Nikon, and Panasonic cameras, you can control your camera settings directly on the gimbal using the jog dial. Just press left or right on the jog dial to switch between the different settings, and then scroll the jog dial left or right to make your adjustments. With these cameras, you can control the zoom and/or focus from the wheel without having to connect an external motor. Just head into the gimbal menu, go to the wheel page, then function, and from here you can select the electronic focus option. Now you can use the wheel to make your zoom or focus adjustments. Pretty cool. For Sony cameras, you can control your Sony lens's power zoom or your camera's digital zoom directly on the jog dial itself. Just press left or right to adjust the zoom. Now, if you have the transmount motor attached, you've opened up even more possibilities, no matter what camera and lens combination you're shooting with. Back under the wheel menu, we'll select the manual focus option to control the motor. Now we can control the motor using the wheel for smooth zooming, focus control, or even aperture adjustments on manual lenses. Back in the wheel menu, we can fine-tune the controls for both motor and electronic modes. Here we can adjust the sensitivity, which will affect how much movement occurs when we turn the wheel. We can also set A and B points, which are essentially end points. This tells the motor to stop moving even if you keep turning the wheel, like when you've reached the limits on your zoom or focus. Setting up A and B points is easy. First, select Max. This is for the motor labeled Zoom Controller, which comes in the new WeebillS bundle. Then just turn the wheel until you reach your first desired endpoint. Select A and press right to confirm. Then move to your desired starting point with the wheel and select B, press right to confirm. If things don't appear to work properly, try making your starting position your B point instead of your A point, and making your ending position your A point instead of your B point. And that should do the trick. In the menu, you can also reverse the direction of the wheel control if it feels more comfortable for you. As you start shooting more and more, you might find you'll want to tweak some of your settings, like how the gimbal behaves, how it moves, and the behavior of the joystick. With WeebillS, it's easier than ever before to change these settings, as you can do them right on the gimbal itself. Head into the menu and go to Advanced. Here we can see several options. Under Speed, we can adjust the speed of the joystick movement or how fast things respond in follow mode. Under Smooth, you can adjust the smoothness of your gimbal movements, which is how fast the gimbal eases into full movement speed. Lastly, there's Deadband. This is the number of degrees you have to move or turn before the gimbal responds and starts moving. Play around with these settings and find what works for your shooting style. You can always revert back to default if things get a little bit crazy. Just a few last tips before we're ready to start shooting. If at any point you want to prevent accidental button presses or movement of the joystick, you can easily lock certain functions on the gimbal itself. To lock just the front panel of the gimbal, double press the LV button and you'll see Key Lock appear on the screen. This will keep the buttons on the side and the follow trigger active while only locking the front keys. Double press LV again to unlock the front panel. If you want to lock all of the controls, including the side buttons and the trigger, just triple press the LV button. Triple press again to unlock. Now, if at any point you're taking a break from shooting, you can easily enter into standby mode to power the motors down and preserve battery life while still keeping the gimbal powered on. Just push and hold the POV button for 3 seconds to enter standby. When you're ready to get back to shooting, push and hold the button again to power the motors back on. And that's it. But the rest is up to you, so get out there, shoot, experiment, and have some fun. Let me know in the comments section too what your favorite feature of WeebillS is. And if you guys have any questions too, or you just want to say hi, let me know too, and I'll get back to you. And if you want more on the WeebillS, stay tuned and subscribe because we have videos coming like how to update the firmware, checking out some of the new accessories coming for WeebillS, and more. You don't want to miss it. Until the next one, I'll see you.